everyone, Bethany here. Welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be using Monica Taylor's Transcontinental Railroad digital kit. I have not printed all of them. I printed quite a few, but these are some of my favorites. I resized a few. I want to just play and see what happens. I don't have an exact game plan in mind. Here's a few of them to show you. A little photograph, an accident report. They're really super cute. I love them. Some of them you don't even need to do a whole lot to really get them looking great because the digital prints are fantastic. You can see this ephemera. I really like this one. It was my favorite. Here it says Transcontinental Railroad. As a backdrop, that would be really great. And hopefully you can see it, but there's an actual train there too. And then here's a few more. Some of them are the smaller images. You'll see a couple of the images duplicated in different places. There's actually a digital layout with ephemera layered already for you, which I really like. I love mixed media like that, and that's fun for me. Same thing here, a little bit more of the mixed media look. And then a couple more journal pages, or you could turn them into card fronts, whatever your goal is for your kit. So today I'm just going to play around and see what we end up with. I'm really gravitating towards this, but not in the shape that it is right now. So I'm going to just start cutting away and see what I can come up with. So I'm going to pull out this Maker Forte cardstock. It's actually a specialty vellum called Aged Antique, and it's really pretty. It's not a super see-through vellum. To start, I trimmed it down to an A2 size card front. Now I'm going to play with some distressing and coloring. So I have the Color Hive Remarkable ink pad. It's Fog. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to place it right here and give it a good stamp down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this water pen and I'm going to just start creating darkening lines. This is kind of a grayish, but I'm looking for a dipped in water effect. I want to highlight a few of the parts, make the white stand out a little bit more, kind of 3D it up just a little bit. And also you'll see my printer ink is also going to start blending in with the ink color as well. All right, I'm going to let that one set aside and dry, and then I'm going to do the same thing with my A2 background. I'm going to stamp a little bit more over here so I can see where it all is. And the fog, it's right off to the side here, but the fog is kind of a grayish green, and I'm going to put it on this vellum paper. Kind of dirty it up a little bit. I don't want too much water because I don't want to have to deal with warping or anything like that, but still giving texture and movement. Now that I have that color, I'm just going to stamp right over that color again with Vegas Strip. It's a water reactive ink again, but it's a complementary color to this blueprint of the train. So not using too much, just doing a little speckling. It's less about brush strokes and more about bleeding the color from the sides. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean off the water brush, try to get as much of the blue off as possible, and then I'm just going to smudge them in so they're not so stark. And it helps the fog color blend in with the blue a little bit. It also softens a lot of those lines that I created. And now I'm going to do something really crazy and bold. I'm actually going to look like there was an oops spill of the ink, the blueprint ink, and I'm just going to smoosh through like that. Let's do a couple more. It's not fully dried yet. You'll see it's a lot darker, more distressed, very haphazard, and some of this will be covered anyways, but we're trying to get a little more of that extra ink, the excess ink, as if the printer didn't let the blueprint dry before setting it down on the table. That or somebody's coffee spilled and the blueprint ink uh, went onto the backdrop. I don't know. We're just experimenting and playing until we find something that works. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a piece of ephemera that really goes along with this blueprint. One that I really like is this little ticket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the fog again, and we're just going to ink up the sides directly from the pad, kind of haphazardly again. I don't need a super huge amount, just enough to give it a little bit of dimension and shadowing. So when I have one large piece of ephemera, I like to use either 2 smaller bits, or I usually like to keep it an odd number. The one thing that I'm noticing as I put it down is this is a little bit redder than I was hoping for with this backdrop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the base color. So I'm going to grab some of this yellow. It's a lemon. It's the flavor. The color is called lemon. And I am going to take my blending brush, tap some on the side, and I am going to just tint this just a little bit so it's not so reddish. And I don't really want an even color. I just want to knock down the red just a tad. Using my Barely Art glue, I'm just going to place a nice layer right here. Make sure I get my corners down. Especially when you've wet the paper, sometimes the corners have a tendency to lift first as it dries, especially if you don't have it under something pressed. While it's a great look to add to the distressing, that's not the look I'm aiming for right now. So, and a little tip from photography land: as a photographer, when you are doing layouts like this, it's always best for the visual eye to bring your front piece up just a hair up from center. For whatever reason, our eyes read things better that way. Now, using some Dollar Tree foam tape, I'm going to place the smaller bits of ephemera haphazardly, since apparently that's the word of the day. And this cute little stamp, before I put it down, I'm going to add a little bit of that lemon too. Just mostly because I didn't actually cut out the intricate bits of the stamp. I just let them be. So I feel like it needs a little bit of distressing just to fit the rest of the look. And it's not super dramatic. I'm just going to use one big piece of foam tape instead of smaller bits. And there you have it. You have a masculine card front, and add a sentiment inside. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. For this next card front, I am going to use the one that I cut down near the A2 size card. And I want to use this photograph against the train background here. Now, the only thing is I'm noticing as I put it down, well, that covers the train. So there's an alternate way to do it. It's called fussy cutting. Now I'm going to take a stamp. I'm going to use the Stamp Market painted background. It was recently donated to me, and I have been dying to play with it. So I'm going to play. I have it on a acrylic block, and I'm going to once again use the Remarkable Ink Fog. And I'm not going to push too hard on the pad, mostly because I don't want it to be a full color. I want there to be some type of texturing happening here. So apparently I forgot to press record on the rest of this card, but what I can show you, what I did was I took some of this Color Hive flat white and I put some around the edging to help distress and boost it a little bit more. And then I also grabbed, using the same flat white color, I grabbed this big background block from Hero Arts that was purchased at Goodwill, if you can't tell by the sticker. And I only inked up just this corner here. I then went around the edging and also a couple of times on the photograph in front and just put a little bit of the script. It looks French to me. I'm not 100% sure. I can't read French very well because I know like 3 maybe phrases. Anyways, so I also then went and popped this little photograph up on foam tape, and now you can see what it looks like at the end. Fun, not overly grungy, and still you can see that train, which I absolutely love. For this next card front, I am going to use one of the cut down journal pages that I printed smaller. And I'm going to, again, use the corner of this. I really liked how that look ended up, but we're going to use a slightly unconventional color. It's the Color Hive Blueberry Cheesecake. It's a little purplish blue. And once again, aiming at the corners. And when you go ahead and go back over, sometimes you don't need to re-ink because you already have plenty of ink and it helps give dimension to what you're doing already. So now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and start adding some ephemera. And I really like the Pennsylvania Railroad, so I am going to use this purple blue, and we're just going to add the dimensions to the paper so it ties in. And I really like this photograph as well. So same effect, makes it look like some of the ink bled from the corners when the photo was getting printed, and I think that's pretty awesome. When I was in photography and printing my own color prints, I would do stuff like that on my edges on purpose. And I always came up with some really awesome looks by distressing. It was just being lazy and not putting the guides in the proper place. And I actually did an entire gallery showing with that look, and it turned out really cool. All right, so now that we've just added all those little bits, we're going to keep it simple again, and we're just going to pop some of these up and leave some of these flat. So using the Barely Art glue, going to leave the bottom one flat again. Double check my corners, even though I just put some ink, no water this time. My grandpa was infatuated with trains. I think at some point someone got him a train conductor's hat. Anytime there was a vacation to be had, they would go find a train or a train museum or something like that. And so August is his birthday month. He has passed, I think, 10 years now, but every time I see anything train, I think of my grandpa. And so this kit I'm just absolutely obsessed with because I love the look and I love the sentiment behind why I like this kit so much. And only using one piece of foam tape to pop it up. And there you go. Thank you for hopping along with today's card hop. As a reminder of what we did, we had the blueprint card, the photograph card, and then the quickly distressed final card front. And I hope you learned a lot today, and thank you for joining the hop. I will have links down below for the next person in the hop. If you are not already a subscriber, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We would love to see you around more often. And I will also have links to the digital kit and any other supplies that I have links for, I will drop down below. Don't forget to also check out the link for my family's shop and all of their goodies and the other channels that are partnership with our channel here. Don't forget to check out TaylorMade for You. There's so much to be had there. Thank you for hopping on in, and I hope to see you all soon. Have a great day and happy making. Bye. I don't know what to call this one. The Franklin. Shh. Mommy's talking. More focused. Yes, Franklin, can I help you? Having that design more focused. Yeah? Is that funny? You think Mama's funny? Yeah? Thank you for letting Mommy know she's funny. Our front and so now, seriously, do you have to talk every time I talk? You're quiet when I'm quiet, and then when I talk, you have to talk. What is this? Huh? Yeah? Yeah?